Good morning, friends. This session is dedicated to competitive English. Actually, what happens now these days, candidates, appearing in various competitive exams, they do feel difficulty sometimes in spotting error. There are different types of error that can be asked in exam, particularly tense error, verb error, and different types of error. But one of the, highly competitive exams like Combined Defense and Services, ND and other, the question that really comes in exam and they ask, related to inversion, sentence inversion. That is, what is sentence inversion? Let us see the some of the questions that, and then we will discuss about that. What kind of questions can be asked? Like you see, I do not know where could he have gone so early in the morning. Let us see the sentence. I do not know where could he have gone so early in the morning. Now the sentence is incorrect. Why it is incorrect? Because it is not an interrogative sentence. Therefore, the pattern of the structure should be subject plus verb plus object plus complement. So I do not know where he could have gone. Subject will come, he will come first. Subject plus could, would, have plus V3, future perfect. So subject plus would, could, like I do not know whether he would have completed it or not. I do not know whether he would have done it or not. I do not know why he had done so. Always use subject first. Whenever you, go for such kind of structure, if the sentence is not an interrogative one, definitely, like you can say that I want to know whether you have completed the work. This is correct. You do not say I want to know whether have you completed or no. In questions you can have auxiliary first, like have you completed your work? This is a single question, interrogative question mark. But when you say that there is a complex sentence and when there is a main clause, I do not know whether you have completed the work, I do not know where you have gone, or I do not know where he could have gone so early in the morning. So the subject will always come first because the sentence pattern is not interrogative one. Now come to the second inversion. The second inversion generally that comes like a not a word he spoke when he heard the news of his father's demise. Yeah, see the sentence. Not a word he spoke when he heard the news of his father's demise. See what is wrong in this sentence. This is called, subject verb inversion. What is inversion? The subject and verb exchange their position. They, switch on their position. That means the subject comes in place of verb, verb comes in place. Like, yeah, here comes the train. Never use here the train comes. No. Whenever the sentence begins with an adverb of place, always use verb first, then subject. Here comes the train. Here comes the prime minister. Here arrives the chief guest. Never use subject first. This is also known as elementary inversion. Subject takes the place of a verb and verb takes the place of subject. So, the sentence which I just read out, what is that? Not a word he spoke when he heard the news of. The right answer will be not a word did he speak when he heard the news of his father's demise. Why it is essential to write did he speak? First auxiliary will come, then subject will come, because this is known as subject verb inversion. What is subject verb inversion? When the subject and the main verb switch on their position, the word order becomes verb plus subject. Generally, this order is used when a sentence starts with an adverb of place. Like I said, here comes the train. Subject auxiliary verb inversion. Acha, just see that. Never did I go there. See this. Never say never I went there. Better you use auxiliary plus subject plus verb. Never did I go there. Never have I known you. Never have I understood this concept. Never had I, you know, underestimated you like that. So why it is their auxiliary and the main verb, get inverted. I mean, this they switch on their positions. This is just to emphasize the fact. Never did I go there. मैं वहाँ कभी नहीं गया हूँ और नहीं गया हूँ. So never did I go there is the right way, and in place of saying never I went there. So whenever you, even if in a spoken English you can use. Then there is another one, that is, conditional sentence. Like when you speak with if in the beginning of a sentence, then the format will be like that. If I had known you well, I would have talked to you. But if you remove if from there, then you start with the auxiliary. Had I known you well, I would have talked to you. Had I reached the venue in time, I would have met the Prime Minister. So when you start the sentence without if, without I mean the adverb of condition, then you start with auxiliary. Had I known the fact, I would not have behaved in that manner, because we now the sentence you are starting without if. The clause of condition begins with if, then certainly you will have to use the subject verb object format. Like, if I had known him well, I would not have behaved in that manner. If I had reached the venue in time, I would have met the Prime Minister. So when you are starting the conditional sentence, being with the connector if or unless, definitely you will have to use subject plus verb plus object. But if you do not use if or whether or any other connector or any other clause of condition, then you start with the auxiliary. Had I known the fact, I would have not behaved in that manner. Had I been there in time, I would have met the Prime Minister. So that is the way actually to use certain sentences and spot the error. Many a time the people while speaking English, they commit mistake. They always say, scarcely I had gone there when I had seen him. Wrong. Scarcely had I reached the station, I had, when I had, boarded the train. Scarcely had I reached the station when the train arrived. Never use, the format subject plus verb, use the had or auxiliary plus subject plus V3. Like, never, scarcely had I reached the venue when the program started. Hardly had I seen him when he ran away. Hardly had I seen him when he ran away. So, use the auxiliary first. That is also known as auxiliary and main verb inversion. That is known as auxiliary main verb inversion. Like, scarcely had I noticed that thief when he escaped. Scarcely had the police spotted the man when he escaped. When he escaped. Scarcely is always followed by when, hardly is always followed by when, and no sooner is always followed by than. No sooner had I noticed the thief than he escaped. Than he escaped. No sooner is followed by than, scarcely is followed by when. So that is how we use the subject verb inversion in many of the sentences of spoken English. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thanks.